This month marks what would have been my younger brother Gabriel's 20th birthday. Baba. And what no one talks about is how confusing and painful it is to celebrate a loved one on their birthday while you're still grieving them. It's a reminder of everything that could have been, and it forces you to reflect on who you were then and who you are now. When you lose someone you love, your whole identity gets split into two versions of you. The version of you before they passed and the version of you after. The person I was when my younger brother Gabriel passed away is a completely different person to who I am today. And even though losing him was and is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, the person I became because of him is the best version of me I've ever known. And so today we're going to talk about the 3 ways that grief changes you forever, but also how, if you allow it to, it can change and transform you for the better. Before we get into that, I want to make something really clear. This video is not about death or tragedy. This video is about love. It's about life, and it's about the power we reclaim after losing someone. It's about how our loved ones' lives on earth continue to change our lives long after they're gone. It's about how grief changed and transformed my identity and what it taught me about the person I am today. Whether you've lost a parent or a friend or a sibling, the people we lose continue to raise us. They continue to influence us. They continue to inspire us and take care of us long after they pass. And whether you've lost someone you love or you're grieving a relationship or a friendship, our grief is what makes us human. And so the 3 ways that grief changed me forever and the lessons it taught me are to live life to the fullest before grief forces you to, that love never truly disappears, and finally to honor their life by how you live yours. When you understand all 3, you'll realize that grief isn't just about losing someone you love. It's about realizing that their love never stops changing, transforming, and shaping who you become. Hey, my gorgeous angels, I'm Christian, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk all things mindset, manifestation, spiritual healing, and beauty. This is a bit of a different video for me, and while I was nervous about filming it, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to my brother, to myself, and to you if I didn't. Whether you've lost a loved one or you're afraid and terrified, just like I was, of one day losing someone, this video is for you. This is about my experience after 10 years of grieving my brother and how it's transformed me forever. And I'd never thought I'd say this, but somehow for the better. You guys already know I love to teach you all about identity transformation, whether it's through manifestation techniques or identity work or mindset shifts. But when I think about the biggest thing, the catalyst that changed and transformed my identity, it wasn't a practice or a mindset shift. It was the pain and grief of losing my younger brother. You know, when Gabriel passed away, I didn't just lose him. I lost the version of myself that existed with him. And whether for you it's a death or a relationship ending or just any profound loss, the people we lose take parts of us with them. And in a painful but beautiful way, it forces us to fill the gap they left behind with a new identity. And that's why I want to talk about this, because grief isn't just something we survive. It's something that forces us to become someone new. And I'm here to help you become someone new and even more powerful by sharing the 3 greatest lessons that grief taught me, the 3 greatest lessons that transformed my identity and that continue to shape the person I am every single day. You know, grief forces you to look at life completely differently. The rose-tinted glasses that you have before you've lost someone come off, but they come off only for a while, because the transformation that comes with grief is gaining a new set of even more magical, beautiful, spiritual unusual and powerful rose-tinted glasses. So on that note, let's talk about the first way grief changes you forever, which is to live before grief forces you to. So my brother got diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor in 2015, and we were told that there was a 0% survival rate and that we had 1 year. When you get told news like that, it changes you forever. There are no words to explain how it felt knowing I only had one more birthday, one more Christmas, Easter, and summer with him. As humans, we often take life for granted. And it's moments like that where you're faced with how temporary life can be, that you're forced to come back to the present moment and live each day like it's your last. The first and instant way that grief changed me was to live in the moment, because we knew we only really had a year left with my brother. And we lived each and every single day as though it were our last. The grief of knowing that we were going to lose him is so different to the grief that comes after you lose someone. Because every conversation, every sunset, every laugh, and every regular Tuesday with him was actually the greatest blessing of life. Grief taught me that the greatest tragedy of life isn't dying. It's reaching the end of your life and realizing you never truly lived it. We had the best year. We traveled, we tried new foods, we went to new cities, we bought so many gorgeous things for him that he loved, and we lived and he lived. I know my brother would have given anything to still be here, and so would I. To watch him grow older, to fall in love, to travel with me all around the world, and to watch him chase his dreams. And because he can't, I refuse to waste the life I still have. Every time I create a video, step on a stage, choose courage over fear, I'm reminded that life is unbelievably precious. And I'm here to remind you to never wait for grief to show you what truly matters. Choose to live now. Tell people you love them. Chase the dreams now. Wear the outfit and the makeup and do the hair now. Book the flight now. Start the business now. Because life isn't going to wait for you to live it. So live life before grief forces you to. So on that note, let's talk about the second way that grief changes you forever, which is that love never truly dies. They say that grief is love with nowhere to go, and it's so true. Because when Gabriel passed away, I thought that loving him meant missing him and crying for him and being sad over him. I thought that death had ended our relationship forever. But 10 years later, I know that's not true. Death may end a life, but it never ends the love you had with that person. That love doesn't disappear. It just changes form. It starts living in the way you laugh, in the way you talk about your loved one to other people, in the way you reminisce, in the things you care about, and in the person you're becoming. I used to say, I wish my brother was still here, and of course I still do. Because the hardest part of losing someone you love is losing their physical presence. Nothing can replace that, and nothing ever will. But the way grief changed me is knowing that his absence doesn't mean he's gone. When I create videos and read your comments, I feel him. When I help you with your mindset or manifestations or identity transformation or healing, I feel him. When I choose courage over fear, I feel him. Because love, that real, doesn't disappear when someone leaves. It transforms into a quiet and subtle force that keeps pushing you forward. It transforms into the voice that says, keep going when you want to stop. It transforms into the invisible hug and hand on your back, guiding you through life when you're lost and afraid. Our loved ones are always here. And the love we have for them and the love they have for us never disappears. So on that note, let's talk about the third and final way that grief changes you forever, which is to honor their life by the way you live yours. Earlier I said that when someone you love dies, they don't just take a part of your heart, they take a version of you with them. And what I've learned is that grief allows you to consciously choose who you become next. My brother Gabriel, like all siblings, was my twin soul. He was my best friend. He was my soulmate. He was the love of my life. He knew the parts of me that not even our parents did, and saw things that no one else did. And when you lose someone you love, they take a huge part of your heart with them. Imagine you have a garden with a huge towering oak tree that supplies the flowers and the bees and the butterflies with life. And imagine that oak tree being cut down and removed. Your whole garden relied on the energy and love of that oak tree. And without it, your butterflies and flowers and bees will struggle. So the people we love the most and lose are our oak trees. And this past decade of grief for me has been about learning to bring my garden back to life. Because even though my oak tree was cut down, it left roots that run deep beneath the entire garden. And honoring my oak tree doesn't mean replacing it with a new one. It means honoring its absence by tending to and loving what's left of your garden. And in doing so, you will transform your garden with even more beauty and even more abundance because of your oak tree. And that's why I create and talk about manifestation and healing and refusing to play small. And I do this with the abundance and happiness and inspiration I've found since my brother's passing. Sorry, my camera just died, but I was saying that I know we have the power as humans to create whatever life we want. We have the power to turn our gardens, even after losing our precious oak trees, into something even more magnificent. Every video I film, every person I help, every life I touch, and every dream I pursue is another flower growing in the garden that my brother helped plant. And so the greatest way that we can honor the lives of our loved ones isn't by staying trapped in grief, but by becoming the fullest expressions of ourselves. So if you've lost someone you love, don't ask yourself, how do I move on? Because grief and missing them is forever and you never move on. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, who am I because I loved them? And who am I becoming because they love me? Because I truly know and believe that the people we love who are no longer on earth are always guiding, supporting, loving, and helping us. So to recap, the 3 ways that grief changes you forever and for the better is by living life before grief forces you to, is by remembering that love never truly dies, and finally by honoring their life by how you live yours. I love you so, so, so much, my angels, and I am so grateful for all your love, all your support, and this beautiful community we're building together. Bit by bit, I'm becoming more vulnerable, and I'm so grateful that you honor me and allow me to share my story to help you become your most powerful self. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another video.